Welcome, everybody, to the Public Art Commission meeting today, February 20th. First, we will do roll call. Vice Chair Shen.
Present.
Commissioner Miyagi.
Here. Excuse me. I'm attending tonight under AB 2449, just cause due to a temporary physical disability, and there's no one over 18 in the room with me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Commissioner Waltuck.
Present.
Commissioner Smith.
Present.
Commissioner Stern.
Here.
Commissioner De La Garza.
Present.
And Commissioner Gordon here. Are there any agenda changes, additions, or deletions?
There are none.
Do we have public comment?
No.
Okay. I would like to go over, well, we don't need to go over. I'm sure people have reviewed the minutes from our meeting in January, which was January 16th, the regular meeting. And we need to probably vote separately on both of these items. And then we also had our annual retreat on January 31st, and there are minutes for both of those meetings.
I move to approve the minutes from January 16, 2025.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Miyagi, do you approve the minutes?
Yes.
Commissioner Waltuck.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Commissioner Stern.
Yes.
Commissioner De La Garza.
Yes.
Vice Chair Shen.
Yes.
And me, yes. Moving on to the minutes from our annual retreat, January 31st. Can I have a motion to approve these minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes from January 31st from our retreat.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. To approve, Commissioner De La Garza.
Yes.
Commissioner Stern.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Vice Chair Shen.
Yes.
Commissioner Waltuck.
Yes.
Commissioner Miyagi.
Yes.
And myself, yes. Any city official comments?
We have a couple of comments. So you may recall that we had our pre-qualified pool call open and our muralist call open the last time we convened. And we're happy to report that we had over 1,000 artists apply. So we have our work cut out for us, and we have a very robust pool of artists to choose from for upcoming commission projects. So that's really exciting. The other one, I have a couple of these flyers, Know Your Rights, information for Palo Alto's immigrant community. This is a project spearheaded by the HRC, and so there is information here about that. It is February 27th at 5:30 p.m. in the El Palo Alto room of Mitchell Park Community Center. Topics include knowing your rights and responding to ICE, making a safety plan, information about U.S. citizenship and immigration services, Q&A with an attorney from the Age and Law Alliance, resources for English language learners and immigrants from the Palo Alto City Library. Translation is available in many languages through a phone app. You can contact Palo Alto Office of Human Services for additional information. And I also want to welcome our new council liaison, Vice Mayor Vinker, who is joining us this evening. Welcome. We're very excited to have you here.
Well, thank you. I'm delighted I have this appointment. It's terrific. I look forward. I just was looking through the website earlier tonight and looking through the master plan, and just want to say that I'm Next meeting, I actually have a conflict, so I may not be here in person, but any of you should feel free to reach out for me or through the chair or through staff. But I'm so excited that you all are taking your volunteer time to serve our city in this way. It really enhances our public life to have the quality of public art that comes from the work you do. So thank you so much for that. And I want to particularly thank Commissioner Miyagi, because otherwise we're all women tonight. And I kind of like that, but I like having, at least a male with us. So anyway, no, thank you for the welcome.
That's great. Thank you. Elise, from the city official comments, you said that's February 27th. Who is hosting that? Can you let us know which age? Is it a commission that's hosting that?
So I believe this is a partnership between Office of Human Services, Libraries, Asian Law Alliance, Catholic Charities, City of Palo Alto. So it's the
Okay.
City of Palo Alto hosting it.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Just one request. Is that available electronically? Because I'd like to circulate that.
I'm sure I can make that happen tomorrow. All right.
Thank you so much. Our first action item is election of officers. We all received the protocol for the election of the officers, and it's that time of year. I am the outgoing chair, so I will go through the general duties and responsibilities of the chair. First and foremost, I must tell you, it is a fabulous job. And so I am sad to be leaving it, but it is ready for a new person to fill this chair. The general duties, we do have prep time for each meeting that we have. So you will spend time with the vice chair and typically Elise going through really what's going on in public art and what we're going to be covering at the meeting. And that's typically an hour-long call. And that happens about 2 weeks, well, the Monday prior, so 10 days before the meeting. Also, duties and responsibilities include interfacing with the city council and sometimes presenting to the city council. And let's see, what else? In the past, I've spent time doing the strategic plan, but that doesn't have to fall on the chair. Anything else you'd like to add?
It's always great to have a chair who is going to turn up at all of our city events and interact with the public and be the face of the commissioners.
Yeah, that's true as well. And I was going to add one more thing. Oh, and the retreat. We spend quite a bit of time planning for the retreat and getting organized for that. And in this particular year, spending volunteer hours preparing for code art and also during code art, where we'll all be involved, but the chair especially. So if anyone has any questions or comments, we could talk about that now. Okay, I'd like to open the floor to nominations for the position of chair.
I nominate Yesenia for this chair position. I have incredible respect for her. I think she brings a unique knowledge to the role from her background, but she, at least personally, like she always brings up stuff that I'm not thinking about. So I really appreciate that sense about her, and she has been chair before and she did a really outstanding job. She's very dedicated, she's very involved, she's very conscientious, and I think she's great for that role.
Thank you. I don't believe I need to second that nomination, but I will if I can.
You would ask if Commissioner Shen accepts the
Oh, yes.
nomination.
Okay, Commissioner Shen, do you accept the nomination?
It is my great honor to accept this nomination, and it's indeed a pleasure and a privilege to serve both as commissioner, to participate on this commission, and if elected, to serve as your chair.
All right, thank you, Commissioner or Vice Chair Shen. Are there any other nominations? The floor is still open, and if would anyone else, you may nominate yourself or someone else. Okay, may I have a motion to close nominations for chair?
I move to close nominations for chair of the Public Art Commission.
I second that motion. And now we can close the nominations and take a vote. We have paper, and if anyone needs a pen, and then we'll send, you just write the person's name that you're voting for on the paper, and then we send it down to Nadia.
Right, or since there's one candidate, you may say yay or nay. And for our Commissioner Miyagi, who's remote, do you want to just, you can text me your vote?
Okay, will do.
Oh, goody, I get the pleasure. Congratulations to our new chair, Shen. The vote is unanimous.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you. I'm so excited that we have such a depth of talent here, and I think it'll be great fun.
Indeed will be fun. However, you still have the hat on as vice chair, so can you please tell the commission what it is like to act as vice chair? Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, I speak from experience that this is one of the greatest roles that we get to participate in supporting the Public Art Commission. I think the Public Art Commission in Palo Alto is really just one of the greatest organizations. It's such a pleasure that we have such a strong program with such great staff and such a wonderful collection, as well as a civic audience that really supports our work. Our public really is engaged and is enthusiastic of the public art that we bring to them. So it's a wonderful opportunity to support. And as far as sort of the technical stuff that we have to do, on a monthly basis, we would pre-meet with staff to go over the agenda, to troubleshoot, to understand the projects that the agenda items that we're bringing in front of the commission. From time to time, we obviously, as individual commissioners, participate in episodic projects on the side. And if and when the chair is not available to step in and perform the chair's function.
Very well said. Thank you. I'm now opening the floor for nominations for vice chair.
I would like to nominate Commissioner Lisa Waltuck for vice chair position. She has tremendous experience. She has great passion for public art. And as well, she brings a lot of experience to the commission. So I think from a succession planning perspective, she will, just be a vice chair.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Ask if
Oh, sorry.
Commissioner Waltuck accepts the
It's a good
nomination.
thing we're getting a new chair. I mean, really. Okay, so Commissioner Waltuck, would you accept this nomination?
Nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, what I said before, we have a second on this nomination, on this motion to nominate.
I second.
We're not doing motions yet. We ask if
Anyone, never mind. Is anyone else interested, or does anyone else have a nomination for vice chair? Okay, I'm going to close the nominations. May I have a motion to close the nominations for vice chair?
A motion to close the nomination.
May I have a second?
I second.
Okay, now we're going to vote again with the little blue papers.
And congratulations to our new vice chair, Lisa Walczak. It was unanimous.
Wonderful, congratulations.
Thank you. Delighted.
And I'm sure everyone read through the protocol, but I guess I did, and I still didn't do that very smoothly. But they will start the next meeting. So in March, you will have new leadership. And I have enjoyed every minute of being chair. So thank you, everyone. Moving on to the next action item, King Artist in Residence Program. And I'm going to let Elise talk about that. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you so much. So coming off of the retreat, has everybody decompressed from that retreat yet? That was a lot of material we covered. So one of the items that we discussed, of course, was the artists in residence. And so artist Alma Landetta is working on the design for the temporary artwork to go on King Plaza. You've seen their report that they gave at the last meeting, and if you haven't had a chance to see it, it is on our website. And so there was some discussion about that selection process and how arduous that selection process is and how challenging it is to find just the right kind of artist for this kind of assignment. Finding an artist who really can act as a conduit with the community to gather those stories together, to have people open up to them in a way is not a talent every artist possesses nor wants to possess. And our last selection process, we had some amazing finalists, and Alma Landetta won by a very slight margin over another artist, Kiana Armand. And so Kiana's application was very, very compelling, didn't quite make it. But we are recommending that rather than go back out for a whole new process, that that the commission approve Kiana as the next King Artist in Residence, and the allocation of funds in the amount of $50,000 for the project. So that $50,000 breaks into $20,000 for the research and community engagement portion. That's $10,000 for materials for creative community outreach. And then that's $20,000 for fabrication and design process for the temporary artwork that goes on King Plaza. So I did want to read a little bit from Kiana's original application to give everyone a sense of what Kiana wanted to do to focus their residency. So she says, focusing on the theme of cultural identity and its perception in the United States, a recurrent focus in my studio practice, I aim to expand this exploration to embrace the broader BIPOC and immigrant communities in Palo Alto. This residency offers valuable research to establish connections with community leaders, strategically plan outreach, and envision a series of creative workshops. These workshops, delving into both individual and cultural perspectives, will serve as spaces for connection, healing, and creative self-expression. The outcomes from the workshops, combined with survey responses, will inform the creation of a final public art piece that reflects the diversity of the Palo Alto community. As an artist deeply committed to the community and connection, especially within marginalized communities, securing resources for such projects proves challenging. The King Residency, however, stands as a unique gateway. It provides dedicated time, access to resources, and connections with community leaders through the city staff, along with the guidance from the public art program staff. So that was the statement from her application. So if the commission approves Kiana as the next artist in residence, we'll move ahead with further defining what that residency will look like and the contract and timeline. Are there any questions or any disclosures?
I need to disclose that I'm in the studio program with Kiana, and so I know her quite well. And I don't know if that precludes me from voting, but I would like to disclose that connection.
Thank you. I believe it does not preclude you from participating in the vote as long as you do not have a financial interest in the outcome of the decision.
I do not.
I had a question about the exact timing, because I understand that she will be the next project artist, but what is her period cover? What is the expected period covered?
We'll get into the details of that as we get into contract. We wanted to make sure that the commission was on board with actually approving this artist to move forward, and then we'll get with her on her her schedule. But she did in our initial call say that yes, she is available and would like to move forward with it. And so we will come back with details as they emerge.
How long has Kiana been in the Coverley program in the studios?
So, and we're 2 years into the second term. So what, 6 years Kiana's been in there probably? It's hard to, time moves fast, but I think 6 years. What do you think? Okay. We're gonna go
Okay.
with 6 for now, but
Okay.
don't hold me to it.
Okay, thank you. I really think, as we discussed at the retreat, resources are going to be really impacted this year as we go for a longer code art and a really big project, getting that off the ground. And the due diligence has been done here by the panel, and it's a wonderful panel. You've included them here. And so I feel confident that if Kiana is up for this job, that I would recommend that we move ahead with this. So is there any more discussion on this? Any more input?
I just wanted to say I love Kiana's work. I think she's a great choice for this. I came to the public presentation in this room whenever that was 2 years ago. I thought her project was tremendous, and I'm all for this. And I'd like to, should I move to? I would love to move that Kiana Ornaman, is that how you saying it? Is our next King Artist in Residence.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I second.
Commissioner Miyagi, do you approve?
Yes.
Vice Chair Shen,
Yes.
Commissioner Waltuck,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Stern,
Yes.
Commissioner De La Garza,
Yes.
and Commissioner Gordon. Yes. So how exciting. We have our next artist in residence. Thank you. Now moving on to non-action items, Code Art 2025.
Thank you. So this is another continuation from our retreat discussion about code art, which you may recall ran a little long because people were so excited and had so many incredible ideas about how to further enhance this amazing festival that brought more than 13,000 people to downtown Palo Alto the last time we did it, and is going to be even grander this time. So the main festival is October 16th through 18th. We will have the projection mapping on the front facade of City Hall that will continue through the following weekend. So that will continue to be a draw. There's opportunity for community programming all through that week, draw more people in, bring in more partners. We will have one main interactive artwork, which is scheduled to go onto Lytton Plaza, and 4 other urban interventions, which are smaller. They're all interactive, all technology based, and we just about have all the locations nailed down, but they'll all be in close proximity through downtown. Projection mapping, we will have up to 3 artists who will create different custom projection mapping projects to be on the front of City Hall. So we're looking to build out some of those collateral public events. Typically, we've had partnerships with our galleries downtown, Patricia Walsh, Qualia, Pace when they were here. So those are great partners, but we also want more, and we want beyond downtown to come. So we would like to have expanded public programming, not only the 3 days of code art, but each of those evenings during the projection mapping offers an opportunity. If there's a robotics club who wants to do some sort of demo on King Plaza before the lasers turn on, or there's a lighted bike parade, or there, I mean, just blue sky thinking on this, but staff does not have the bandwidth to build this out and build all those partnerships. We will do the nightly public art tours, which we rely on all of the commissioners to help us with, along with working the info booths, with, you know, being boots on the ground, answering questions, all of that. And we also need commissioners who are going to help by going door to door to some of the other downtown businesses and ask not for freebies, but is there something special that you can offer over the evenings of code art? Like maybe they have a signature drink that's for sale that's only available those 3 nights. We, you know, unlike some festivals that take place downtown, we're not bringing in food, we're driving people into our brick and mortar stores and restaurants. And that is part of the point and the impact that we're going to have with this event. So commissioners, areas for support. So of course, serving on selection panels, which you have all done, attracting sponsorship opportunities. So we really want to work closely. We're hoping to get an ad hoc committee together this evening who wants to work especially closely with staff to develop what is a funding rate sheet, like what levels of recognition can various groups get if they want to sponsor a silent disco, if they want to sponsor, you know, some sort of event to help build out that programming. Opening and closing events, we're wide open to what kind of things could take place and what that might look like. Of course, public tours, we've mentioned that, and surveys and helping us capture the economic impact metrics, because that is so important. You all heard from A3 Immersive, you know, the economic impact metrics that they were able to gather from doing similar kinds of festivals in Napa and in San Francisco and other places. And so for us, we've been able to capture that through iPad surveys, and that's volunteers and commissioners who will just walk up to random strangers and start talking to them. And so we also sometimes need assistance to participating artist teams. Just a lot of these projects do set up and breakdown or partial setup and breakdown each day. And sometimes they just need another set of hands, or they might need help sort of corralling people as they're wanting to interact with the artwork, but trying to keep the area of integration of activation clear so that you only have, you know, a certain amount of people. It doesn't overwhelm the installation. So we're going to need all of you like that whole time, but we're especially hoping that maybe an ad hoc committee might emerge out of this evening who wants to work especially close on those partnership items. That does not preclude, if you are not a part of that ad hoc committee, it doesn't preclude you from reaching out to a group and creating some other event. You would just reach out to staff directly instead of reaching out to that ad hoc, so we don't create a Brown Act violation or a quorum. So you would just work with staff if you have a specific idea of a group or partnership idea. So I think with that, we're open for questions. Or if you want to sign up for ad hoc.
So after the retreat, I did reach out to
Mhm.
some of the people that I talked about. For instance, the big band, which is the big jazz band at Gunn. And they are in the process, they have a huge swing dance thing tomorrow night. So he says, once the dust settles with that, he can think about this. So he's interested, he's thinking about it. I think there's he used some acronym that I didn't know what it was. And so he said, I have to get through that. I guess it's something about planning for fall, on the fall schedule. So I'm glad that we're starting now for that.
Yes.
For these groups. So that's in the works. And then Stanford, I mentioned that their reunion weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've just gotten, I think yesterday, the contact who's putting on at least my class. So that's who all the people I know who are involved are working with. So I'm going to try and get a meeting with her. Just about like offering a special alumni tour or something like that. I've just been using the Code Art website and the blurb that came in
Mhm.
Uplift or whatever it was. Is there anything else? And there it says that the artist will be announced soon.
Mhm.
I have been saying that it's international, worldwide,
Mhm.
artists participating. Is there something that you want to provide that we should pass along, or what do you think about that?
Yes, we can provide something more to pass along. We have had one artist switch. It is still international. But I think we'll have a solidified list and locations probably within the next 10 days.
So I'm just coordinating my meeting anyway, so. Okay.
Thank you. Elise, I'm just wondering, we have such great collateral from prior Code Art.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have like maybe even like a 15-second video or something that we can just share? Like,
So
because
I'm
there's
so glad you asked. Because we do. So we'll make sure to send the links to those.
I've also just been sharing the site, and the site actually goes
Mhm.
through all the past Code Arts. But I
Mhm.
think I do want something like just very compact in the email that's a little different than what
Okay,
I lifted, so.
okay.
I seem to remember seeing and that the ambiance, the crowd participating, the interactivity. I think it'll give people a sense of what this 3-day event and frankly a 10-day event will create as an opportunity for businesses, for sponsors, and for participants.
I had one more question. So at least for the jazz ensemble, I know you're maybe gonna reach out to the choir. I said that Code Art is these 3 days, but the projection mapping is 10 days. And then we're looking for some kind of exciting lead in to the, like, when at the moment the building comes alive. Is that the right thing to put out there for now?
Yes, I think that is absolutely a great vision to put out there. If for whatever reason that doesn't work for them, we're happy to have them perform, but we want them downtown. So I love the idea personally of having families and youth gather to see them perform and then have the display go on right after they conclude. But yeah, I think that's fine to put out there. We would have to work on calendaring dates, but that's a later problem.
So in other words, like, he could say, I really want to be there over the weekend because that seems like the most festive or fun, or actually, this off day during the projection mapping would work much better in our schedule, and we would be, and we would be a draw.
Yes.
So, okay.
Tuesday night's great, whatever. Yeah, we'll take it.
And is it just opening and closing, or is it all the way through, as far as having entertainment?
Oh, we're talking about building it out all the way through.
Okay.
So, I mean, and it could look like a lot of different things. So we're completely open.
When you're speaking of opening and closing, are you talking about 4 p.m. before the open at 5 p.m.? Or are you thinking the days, the first day, last day?
I'm thinking actual time slots
Yeah.
during the projection mapping.
So during the projection mapping, will there be music going with the video? And
There-
so I'm just thinking maybe a 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock time slot for 10 days almost, right?
Yes.
But you're also thinking of winding down or maybe closing ceremonies at the end of the 10 days? Because it's 10
We're sort
PM.
of thinking a final night, but after
Right.
10 PM, we pretty much need to go quiet.
Yeah. Well,
So-
quiet and the light needs to go
Yeah.
probably as well. Okay, yeah, this is going to be really interesting and
Mhm.
fun. And were we in the past open from 5 to 10?
Mhm.
We were.
Yes.
I just wanted to mention that currently the high schools don't get out really until 4 PM.
Mhm.
So just might be difficult to have a program start at 4.
Right, but an hour would also be a long time for them to perform, so it might make more sense to have a 4:30.
I agree. And I think sports too. They
Mhm.
are let out for sports, so
Mhm.
perhaps. they would
All
let
good
it
points.
day. Yes. I do like the idea of a 20-minute kind of grab you production and then the lights go on.
It's a little tough though, like my son is in the jazz band and he was saying, because they like which instruments they bring, they have to set up, like it's, there is some, usually their call time is an hour before their performance. So
Mhm.
like in terms of getting there, getting ready, performing and then leaving.
Yeah, but these programs get permission to leave class early
Yeah.
for that type of stuff.
So those are all things that can be navigated. And King Plaza doesn't have to be the only one. That is probably going to be the installation with the loudest sound, but we have lots of other spaces to play with. So, thinking about that, the whole point of this festival, it was born out of the idea of reinventing underutilized spaces with the arts. So it doesn't have to be King Plaza. There's lots of opportunities.
Question about, I'm sorry, so is it possible that other musical acts, for example, would go during the in the other spots during the simultaneous to the art project? Or do you want it to just be the precursor and then it's off during the art show?
Probably just the precursor, because a number of the installations do have sound elements that are part of their artwork. So we don't want to unintentionally fight with them and or create audio chaos for outdoor diners. We're also trying to be really aware of that.
I had a question about the Cubberley site. Is there anything going on around code art at that site? Or
No,
with the
Code Art
artists?
is just downtown.
And are we thinking about trying to have a tie-in with Cubberley and Cubberley artists?
Coverly Artists applied for the calls. They're of course invited to apply for any of our calls.
I just mean, do we gonna have an open house there or something during code art so that for people to have an extended art experience, or not? It's not in the plans.
It's not in the plans. We don't have the bandwidth. We're so tight with getting Code Art off the ground. We really can't expand programming to another part of town.
Although I would say that from my experience, the Coverley artists are usually there. They're usually
They
sometimes
volunteer.
they're working the booth, and they're also giving away their prints. So I feel like the spirit of Coverley is very much part of Code Art.
Great point.
When you're thinking about doing something like a silent disco, which I love the idea of, where would that be held?
Are you signing up for the ad hoc?
I think I am. Yes, I think I'm signing up.
Because these are kind of the things that we would talk with the ad hoc with. We've had a few ideas, like, I know there's been a lot of discussion about wanting Centennial Way to function the way it was originally intended to be, a pedestrian thoroughfare. And you do have points where you could issue headphones and take them back, which is, and it's right across there. So that's one idea that comes to mind, but there are quite a few other spaces that we could perhaps utilize.
Yes, I am signing up for the ad hoc, and I'm also open to going around and knocking on doors and
Okay.
doing that sort of thing.
Thank you, Commissioner De La Garza.
I will also sign up for the ad hoc.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Smith.
The attracting sponsorship opportunities, I think you guys mentioned something about setting the sponsorship level.
Mhm.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, so this is something staff hasn't had a chance to really focus on generating. We did an early version, I think 2 code arts ago, which was asking about, there was like a $5,000 sponsorship and a 10,000 and what it would sponsor. And so I think some of that is working with the ad hoc to generate what other program do we want to do? So what does it cost to put on a silent disco? And is that a sponsorship level and what do we give them? So depending on the funding amount, then do they get a logo each night on the projection throughout the whole run of the projections? Do they get, are they on our smaller partnership and our website, or what does that look like? So I think we have to work on what does that extra programming look like? What are those price points? And where do we want to sort of draw those distinctions?
So is this one ad hoc committee that does the sponsorship, the determination for the program on top of the various different type of projects?
So they're going to work most closely with staff to develop that. We'll report out to the whole commission, and we do anticipate that commissioners not on that ad hoc will also come forward with connections and ideas. And so you would just work with staff directly so that we're not creating a quorum. Nobody's left out. Any other questions?
I like to sign on for the ad hoc committee as well.
Thank you, Chair Shin. Okay. That's fantastic. Are there any other questions on code art? Of course you may. Please do.
Yeah, I want to stay in my lane, but I'm really intrigued by this, and I'm particularly excited about bringing in the merchants downtown and your conversation about that, because as you know, that's one of the council priorities is economic vitalization. And there's more than enough creativity in this room without me. But what struck me, I think you mentioned or sort of hinted at the idea of maybe a competition amongst some merchants. And I thought, or no, you mentioned like the different drinks, they could do things with the theme, or wouldn't it be interesting if there was a little competition and a little map of the 8 or 10 that did something, and then that would drive people to their businesses. But also, they could get into, it'd be cool, a drink with a fluorescent ice cube. I don't know. It may not be a great idea, but I wanted to put it out there because you all can workshop it in your ad hoc. And I think maybe there's some really nice synergies potentially.
And we do put out, I think the Palo Alto Weekly always put out like the best burger or the best whatever. And then that could be one additional category, the best drink, from the public art, code art.
That's, yeah.
I just want to build on that idea. I love the idea, and maybe this is what you were getting at, is even if like on the code art postcard, all the sponsoring or all the special drinks, and if you get each one, you win something. Like if you fill out all 10, if you get all 10 drinks,
I
then
was going to say, depending on how many drink specials there are, maybe you might want to be careful with that.
Maybe it's mocktails instead of cocktails, or some combination thereof, or there's a choice, but that you win a print or something.
And when you turn in your checked card, you could vote for which was your favorite, and maybe that merchant wins some, maybe more than notoriety, something. I don't know. They get to do something on the plaza or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'll leave that to you, but
It's,
riff off that.
it is, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I recently was at an open studios, and that's what they did. It was like an open studio bingo. Like you had to attend a certain amount in each category. And then you got put into a drawing to win a piece that an artist had donated. Yeah, that was amazing. It was, and people were walking around with their papers and and it was Idaho, so it was kind of spread out and people were going to all the things. So it was nice.
There was a version we went to in San Francisco a few years ago.
Yes, there was a passport. There's a creative passport that worked really well, and especially families with children were really into it. And the scope of the participating, groups was very diverse. It was anywhere from local shops and bars to libraries and nonprofits. Just doing this public outreach. So it's definitely a great idea to incentivize our local community. Another thought that came to mind, just kind of like, how do we let people know about all these extra perks and like the secret menu of Code Art? So one of the sort of like ideas we came with, it's actually create those floor decals or just like on-site markers, and just really showcase local businesses and partners as like Code Art partners to really encourage that foot traffic into the businesses. Just by very I guess conservative estimations, like we had 13,000 people who attended Code Art, and if I'm not wrong, something like 75% of those public members participated, or just they visited a local business, whether it was a restaurant, a bar, a shop. So we really just want to find creative ways to engage a downtown community. We're not asking for anything, any free stuff. We really just want to support our community.
And one of the things that was interesting when we went to Cincinnati was a lot of the local ordinances had been softened for the evenings of the event during event hours. So some of the restaurants were able to have, a grab and go glass of wine or kebab served on the street or something of that nature. So people didn't feel like, oh, well, I don't quite feel like sitting down in a restaurant, but I kind of want to keep exploring. So all of those things, we've seen these various tricks and newspaper versions of what the secret menu is and all the different places you can go, and a scavenger hunt for kids, so it's also a way to get kids looking for murals and things along the way. So there's lots we can do with it. We just have limited bandwidth. We need your help.
Has there ever been like a activation of windows, like if somebody might make their displays for that week, something different, or maybe taking over an empty storefront and having some kind of artwork in that?
That's a great question. Faith Bell always does something special in the bookstore, and sometimes she has an event out front to coincide with Code Art kicking off. She's been a faithful partner and champion of Code Art for many years now. We have historically had challenges planning for vacant storefront installations because nobody wants to commit, and it's hard for us to engage an artist if that property owner isn't sure if they're going to have it leased or not. So that's been a challenge. That being said, we've also had partners like Pamela Walsh, who has had an open evening during Code Art where people came into the gallery and there was a speaker event and all sorts of things, and then had a new media artwork that played in the storefront of the gallery when the gallery was closed on the other evenings. So we have had some of those partnerships with arts partners primarily, but it's been a real challenge activating vacant storefronts.
How do you go about getting those ordinances relaxed? Vice Mayor Becker.
Well, I know we've toyed with doing that along California Avenue, but it's a little more contained and car-free. So could be a challenge, but I suppose we could ask the city manager and city attorney if there's options there.
Certainly, and I can reach out to our partners in economic development who we work very closely with, and they want this to be a very successful event and see what they have to say, because I'm sure there have been some lessons learned on CalAV on what works and what doesn't work. And yes, we want to make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah, because the third Thursdays is where we do some deviations, but it's a different context, so we'd have to take due care.
I have a question about the vacant storefronts. So the conversations you've had previously with the store, was it with the owners or was it with the brokers? Because usually a storefront that's vacant, they're probably represented by real estate agents who are looking for opportunities to drive traffic into the property.
It's a more complex issue that I'm probably going to be able to address right here and now. Mostly what we see are agents who are representing owners. Owners are not always here and not interested in engaging in that. Sometimes there are basic issues like there isn't light and electrical available, so you can't have something that's new media or have lights on it at night. And others, when you're trying to have a long lead time for planning and you've engaged an artist, you can't necessarily bank on that space being available. So they're hesitant to sign some sort of agreement saying, oh, I'm going to let you know, use it for code art. And the next week they get approached by someone.
Makes sense. Thank you.
This is really exciting, and I look forward to more discussion on this, and with the ad hoc committee, hopefully generating some fun ideas that we can assist with, right? And of course, like you said, any independent ideas can go through staff. The businesses are always happy to put up posters. That's not done until closer to the event, but it still gets the word out there, and I'm sure we will have posters to hang when that time comes, but we're going to get started well before that, it sounds like. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you. Oh, we've got an ad hoc committee set up. Thank you. Commissioner De La Garza, Smith, and Chair Shen for volunteering. That'll be a lot of fun. Thank you. Moving on to public letters. Nadia, none. Okay. Any commissioner questions, comments, or announcements?
Well, actually, I just have one comment to make. Just wanted to say thank you very much to Chair Gordon for all your service. Previously as vice chair and as chair, and obviously as a very valuable, important member of the commission. And lastly, as a public art lover. We just love how you represent the Public Art Commission and the ways that you cherish Palo Alto public art. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you.
Before we close out, I wanted to follow up on a question at the top of the meeting about the Know Your Rights.
Yes, thanks.
So on the City of Palo Alto website, there is this Know Your Rights workshop information, but also online generally are, and I can send anyone the link if they care to have it, are red cards, which have the rights that you should know on a card that you can carry. And they're in several different languages, and there's just PDFs that one can access readily. So if anyone wants those resources, please see me after.
Wonderful. Thank you. It is now time to close our meeting. I look forward to seeing everyone in Palo Alto in front of Public Art, and if not, then at our next meeting in March. Thank you.